Welcome back to the 99, where we are focused on brewing a better competitive commander. I'm your host, Patrick Marlett, and today we'll be discussing Jumpstart from the viewpoint of a competitive commander player. So I do want to preface all of this by stating I'll be discussing cards that are relevant to a competitive game of Commander, and I won't be necessarily discussing Jumpstart itself as a product. So this isn't a product for Commander players. As a matter of fact, it's not legal in any of the rotating formats. However, all the Eternal formats, to include Commander, can play with these cards. And of the nearly 500 cards in this set, I believe there are only a total of 37 new cards that were printed to address some of the themes that were in these sets. So essentially, they're all 20 card packs. You pick up two, crack them open, you have a 40 card deck. That was the concept with Jumpstart. So the fact that we're getting any new cards that are viable in Commander at all, particularly competitive Commander, is really interesting. So we're going to touch on some of these. It's not like M21, by the way, which we've already covered on the show. I talked 2 weeks of discussion regarding all of the recent cards that released that are great for combo or great for value in your pre-existing deck. So if you haven't caught up with my M21 discussions, go ahead and watch those videos first. The thumbnails at least are labeled week 1 and week 2. So once you've caught up with that and you want to touch on some of the cards that are coming out of Jumpstart, well, start there first. Also, on that note, Jumpstart, of all the reprints, there are a ton. We're getting a lot of value reprints that were much needed. Cards like Rhystic Study, Craterhoof Behemoth, and Exquisite Blood, which has only had one printing, so for those veto players that have been needing to pick up that much needed combo card, well, here's another copy for you, and this is only to name a few. I mean, we have Selvala, Heart of the Wilds in here, Oracle of Moldiah, if I'm not mistaken, Linvala, Keeper of Silence. There are so many new copies of cards being reprinted from this self-enclosed product that are great for Commander players. So thank you so much for this. I'm actually pretty stoked for Jumpstart. I'd love to buy a box and play it with some friends as well. A lot of the guys on Discord are talking about this. I do hope the experience is fun. I do hope to experience it myself as well. And if you guys want to experience this, the best way to do so is to pick those singles, packs, and boxes up from TCG Player. Gang, link in the description. If you want to help the channel out indirectly, that is the best way to do so. If I coerced you into picking up any of these singles, maybe you'll luck into some of them via a draft or two. That would be the best way to pick up a Tiny Bones, at least so far as the prices I'm seeing are concerned. Tiny Bones being one of the cards we're going to talk about. And guys, if you want to help the channel directly, you can do so via Patreon and or Anchor, the station you'll be listening to this on. And guys, as you know, I like to thank my patrons at the end of each of these videos, leading up to 99 patrons, and we're so close at this point. I'm stoked to have all of you on board, so thank you so much for all of the patrons that have joined this far. Again, there are only so many cards to discuss from this set. I do want to mention that there's nothing in blue, nothing in red, nothing in multi, and no colorless or land cards of note to mention. I do want to say the Terramorphic Expanse art for the lands, excellent. Go look that one up. I'll put it on the screen. I'll be nice. I'll put it on the screen. It's good. It's really good. Am I wrong? So guys, to start us off, we're going to jump into white with Emiel the Blessed. So for 2 generic, double white, you get the most handsome of unicorns, the most photorealistic image I've seen from Magic in a long time. Thank you for this. Legendary creature unicorn 4/4 has the ability of 3 generic, exile another creature you control, then return it to the battlefield under its owner's control. So Eldrazi Displacer, except it doesn't require you use a waste mana, a specific colorless mana. You can use 3 generic, so of anything. This is really good. This effect is the combo enabler. However, it does have one more effect. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may pay Selesnya. So if you're keeping tabs and you're a commander player, you can play this as your Selesnyan commander. If you do, put a +1/+1 counter on it. If it's a unicorn, put 2 +1/+1 counters on it instead. Here's what I'm going to say right off the bat. Emiel, not the best commander. Selesnya lacks the finishers that the other parts of the color pie have. It's odd to say. Like, green, very potent. White, excellent for stacks. The two of them together, for some reason, they lack good finishers. You can make a bunch of tokens in Selesnya, but most of the time they don't have haste, right? So you're not always going to have Concordant Crossroads out. You're not going to always have your Crashing Drawbridge, whatever that thing is that gives haste. It's very difficult to win in Selesnya unless the commander is part of that winning package, like Selvala Explorer Returned. I think Emiel is best within the 99. I see this and I think to myself, this is easily a better Tamir Sabertooth. I'm sure you can give Tamir Sabertooth Indestructible by bouncing something, but at least I don't have to cast that something again. So the 3 mana I put into this, it gets exiled and immediately comes back in. Again, we've only ever had this effect, to my knowledge, on one other creature, that being Eldrazi Displacer. So you can use this with something like Dockside Extortionist to make infinite mana for the low cost of 3. Or if you had in that same list your Zerda, this ability costs 1 generic. There's a bunch of shenanigans to be had here. I do definitely recommend that Emiel be in the 99. If you are looking to make a commander with this, I'd love to see what you've constructed and what it does on the field. I'm really curious to see this guy in the command zone, but I do think it's a better piece in the 99. And that's it for white. Again, only 37 cards, so this is gonna be a short one. Speaking of short ones, I don't want to elaborate too much on this one because I literally just put out a video on him, but Tiny Bones Trinket Thief. If you can find copies on Card Kingdom or any of your chosen sites for under $5, pick up Tiny Bones. This is easily the must-own legendary creature from the set. 1 generic, 1 black, legendary creature, Skeleton Rogue at Mythic Rare. You're not going to see that many. I'm going to buy the themed packs with this guy. 1/2 body. At the beginning of each end step, if an opponent discarded a card this turn, you draw a card and lose 1 life. We all know how great that can be. Highly encourage you to watch it. I'm going to put a link in the description for that too, for the deck tech I just put out for Tiny Bones. 4 generic, double black. Each opponent with no cards in hand loses 10 life. So in other words, they're hellbent. The concept here being a mass discard strategy with Tiny Bones in the command zone. I'm going to say it for a 3rd time. Go ahead, watch the video. I in-depth cover every single card you want for this list. I will say, as an addendum, an amendment, as a correction to the previous guide, I highly recommend you look into more creatures that do the discarding too. Even if it's symmetrical, it's just nice to have the bodies, and hopefully we can make use of Diabolic Intent or effects that sacrifice creatures to benefit this list as well. However, the main strategy, all of that, still the same. Tiny Bones, still fantastic as a commander. I love the concept here. What's really tragic to all of those who watched my primer for Tiny Bones, I had no idea. I had recently sold off a lot of my discard card collection, and I'm not going to buy another bottomless pit for $5 to $8 right now. So I'm going to have to hold off on constructing Tiny Bones. But for all of you who had made the Rankle, who had made the mass discard list and just have the oppression lying around, have the cards for this, I highly recommend you build this list. It's extremely fun. I've played it a handful of times already. It does what you think it would do. I never had less than 5 or 6 cards in hand on any given turn, and my opponents usually had 1 to 0 cards in hand. So it's very good. I thoroughly enjoy the deck. I think it's an excellent strategy, and maybe he's viable in the 99. You definitely want to play him in a list that is meant for that package. The next card I want to talk about is in green, and the last 2 cards we'll be talking about are in green. This is a card that is specific for, I would say, mono green, but if your win con is green, this will be very good. Allosaurus Shepherd. So, Allosaurus Shepherd for 1 green, creature, elf, shaman, 1/1 body. Allosaurus Shepherd can't be countered. Green spells you control can't be countered. And for 4 generic, double green, until the end of turn, each elf creature you control has base power and toughness 5/5 and becomes a dinosaur in addition to its other creature types. I don't know what theme they're playing with there. Like, I don't understand why the shepherd makes the elf and his flock dinosaurs. Very odd. I also like that the activation cost is the same as Tiny Bones. This would have been a really interesting legendary. Anyways, Prowling Serpapard Guy's Herald. These are all cards that I've wanted to work, right? You know, make my creatures uncounterable, make my thing in Savala uncounterable. Hands down, this is the best form of protection for Savala. Yes, of course, you'll still eat creature removal the same, okay? You're still going to eat a Swords to Plowshare just the same. You're still going to eat a Pongify just the same. But for all of your draw spells, all of your value pieces that get the ball rolling while you're storming off with Savala, and specifically Savala, this is a must include. So you're going to want to pick up this card. I'm looking to pick up this card currently. You need it for Savala. Yisun, I don't know. It's probably the same story. Again, it really depends on your strategy, but if green is any part of that strategy, you're going to want Allosaurus Shepherd to be there for you. Again, it's only 1 mana to drop this down. Furthermore, in Savala, that activated ability can actually be useful. Folks, I mean, if they don't know what's in your hand unless someone has telepathy on the board, right? So you can potentially vitalize Benefactor's Drought, untap Savala, and tap her to net 7 mana off of whatever you had on the field to activate this ability. And why would you do that? Well, what if someone got cheeky with you and decided to fire Covenant? What if someone wanted to Toxic Deluge your board? This is going to allow you to save your board because Savala is not a 5/5. My dorks aren't 5/5s. That can actually come in handy, is the point I'm trying to make. So everything on this creature is good. Everything on this creature is good. Allosaurus Shepherd. Pick up a copy. Even if you're not using it, I definitely see this one being a value card moving forward. Green spells you control can't be countered. I can't remember the last time I saw something like that on a card that's just that, you know, broad in effect. It's fantastic. The last card I want to talk about, because we've mentioned Marath, and we've talked about Marath before. Pardon the motorcycle noises. In case you couldn't hear that and I just looked like a weirdo, I live next to a street. So, Branching Evolution. This is going to be really excellent in those Marath list. Why? For 2 generic, 1 green enchantment, if 1 or more +1/+1 counters would be put on a creature you control, twice that many +1/+1 counters are put on that creature instead. So it's like a mini doubling season, right? You are doubling effectively +1/+1 counters. Well, doubling season doubles all the counters. Doubling season's a better card, but it's not as cost efficient, and that's where Branching Evolution comes in. So someone like Gave probably cares about this. I don't play Gave. Probably cares about this. Someone like Marath definitely cares about this. We've talked about Marath in the past, but I'll mention some of the basic combo lines here. With the recently released Cryptic Trilobite, something like Branching Evolution gives you the ability to go infinite with activations. So you can activate Marath, put a +1/+1 counter on Cryptic Trilobite, which equals 2 here in this instance, remove those counters to generate mana, and begin to place multiple counters on both said creatures, and then activate Marath to just kill the board. I'll have Marath on the screen for you so you can see Marath's effects. He's an excellent combo mander and an excellent outlet that is underutilized. And Marath is one of those commanders that just gets no love. And the more cards that are printed that benefit or buff +1/+1 allotment just make Marath stronger. So I'm extremely excited to see this. And of course, any other combo potential placed on this moving forward. There's clearly far more you can do with this, but the easiest 1-to-1 combo that comes to mind is Marath, particularly because, as I've mentioned, it's the next primer I want to do on this show. And I did hold off partially because I wanted to do Tiny Bones, and secondly, because this just came out. So there's going to be some revisions to the list I'm working on. If you followed the, I want to say partner commander list, if you followed the, not partner, what is it? Companion commander list I made for Marath, it's still a fine list. It's just not as quick or efficient. So hold tight if you are a Marath fan, if you purchase the list. For the next list I'll be discussing, only so many cards have changed. Things like Branching Evolution have obviously been included. But guys, that's it for Jumpstart. That's all the cards. That's all the cards we need mentioned. Again, only 37 new cards. So weren't expecting much from this set, but the fact that we got so many valuable reprints from it is extraordinary in and of itself. and the fact that we have some amazing legendary creatures, right, with tiny bones in particular that we can play with. Someone like Emiel is awesome in Selesnya because you can use Time of Need to just, tutor for that legendary creature if you needed the combo on the spot. So that's fantastic. I think it's Time of Need is what that tutor is called. And then obviously Allosaurus Shepherd, Branching Evolution, combo card, combo protection. Why the hell not? I absolutely love these new additions. I think Jumpstart is an excellent product. I'm excited to see it in person. I know some of the fans on the Discord have purchased boxes. I am definitely contemplating. I think they're under $100 on pre-order. I don't know what they're at now, but I would definitely love to pick up a box. And if you would like to pick up a box, you could do so through the link in the description at TCG Player. That is the best place to pick up your singles packs and more. I honestly mean that. Every time I buy bulk, I always go through them. And if you want to help out the channel, you can go through the link in the description through them to hook us up, hook yourself up. Everyone's happy. But if you want to help support the show directly, you can do so via Anchor and or Patreon. And as our Patreon members know, it is that time. Tiny Bones. Did you guys like the Tiny Bones deck tech? Let me know. I really do want to put this list together and can continue to revise it as I move along. Anytime I do a deck tech on this show, I always encourage folks that reach out to me to embellish on it, to take their own approach, and obviously do what they think would make it a better commander. Because my meta, your meta, it's different. If you see more creature-based strategies, things will change. If you see more spell-slinging strategies, things will change. A lot of who you play with, how they play, and what they play affects the deck, right? It goes luck, player, deck in most all instances, in my opinion. Luck is that number one thing. You can get just screwed out of games, and it's not on you. But player and deck. At any rate, that was a note to the Patreons and anyone who's hanging around for the end of the video. But Adam, Adrian, Ali, thank you so much for your patronage. You guys are the best. Jarn, Brendan, Bruno, you can be my Allosaurus Shepherd any day of the week. Please make my Alps 5/5s. Burden, Carl, Carlos. Ooh, I don't know what it is. Is it the water, the stars? But everything's doubling. We should check out more of this place. That was the flavor text for Branching Evolution, by the way. Christopher, Clyde, Corwin, thank you guys so much for your patronage. You all are my tiny bones. The little ones. But the most important. Corwin, Craig, Dante, thank you so much for your patronage. You guys are the best. Dave, Frank, Frankly, thank you so much for your patronage. Gregory, Gulius, Harry, Jake. Y'all know they're the best already. I don't need to say it. Jared, Jason, Javier, Mace, thank you so much for your patronage. Jordan, Josh, M, Josh B, thank you guys so much. Kev, dang, we got 3 Kevins. Kev, Kevin B, Kevin N, thank you so much. Landers, Leon, Leonardo, and Luke, thank you guys for your patronage as well. Mason, Matthew B, Matthew K, thank you guys so much. New addition, Mikey, thank you very much. Was it the Tiny Bones video? I need to know. I need to know. But thank you for joining the Patreon. Nathan, Nick, Oliver, thank you guys so much for your patronage. Paul G, Paul O, Renell. You guys are the best. I was so shocked about the Pauls last time. Not as shocked this time. I saw it coming. Running Red, Sam, Sarah, Shaded, Schmamby, Tannenbaum. Thank you guys for your patronage. Sir Fluffykins, Shorge, Submox1, still the guy to talk to about Dranith Magistrate. Thank you for your patronage. The Holy Knight, Tim, Trent, Trevor, and the one and only Xiao Fen. You guys are the best. Thank you so much for helping support the channel and helping what I do here. I'm so glad that this has been your oasis for MTG content and that you appreciate what's happening here. Spread the word, spread the love, guys. I never say that shit normally, but if you enjoy the channel, feel free to share this with your friends. If you're going to get more people involved in competitive Commander because more people need to be playing it, I hope that you find this to be the channel to go to and hopefully lead more people here because I really do love producing this content for you guys, and you guys are really helping to make it happen. So thank you so much. Again, my name is Patrick Marlett. Let me know if you jump in to Jumpstart whenever it releases. It's not this weekend. It's been pushed back. But let me know when you guys jump to Jumpstart what you pull. I'd love to see the cards over on the Discord or even in the comment section here. Again, my name is Patrick Marlett, and happy brewing, babies.